Hello and welcome to episode 96 of the Pens and Pixels podcast. I'm your host, Cal G, and to my left is the coordinator extraordinaire,
Mike Kent.
The podcast is the place to come to if you want to hear about the art and news of video games, comics, and movies that week.
That's right, we're the PPP, or...
That's the best one.
Yeah.
It's so much better than...
Then... just... We come in and out of your life, just...
Imagine we had, like, legions of fans, and that could be, like, a thing you do in public, like, just to, like, you know, instead of, like, a little nod or a little, like, thumbs up, you just go...
That's our intro at, like, our first major, like, convention we go to, and you have to come up on stage, and we just come up to the microphone.
You know what to do.
Yeah. It'd be actually a really cool sound to hear a whole audience, like, just go...
It's so weak, it's like a wheeze.
Yeah.
It's not a battle cry, it's not a fierce rally, it's just like...
But it's like everyone on the outside, just the sound of it just echoes in the background just a little bit, so everyone's like, what was that?
What the fuck is that? Sounds like a ghost dying.
Is there an asthmatic behind me?
Oh, okay, so this week on the Pens and Pixels podcast, we're going down the news you need to know as per usual, and then after the break, we're doing another After Dark segment where we talk about what we've been reading, playing, and watching.
That's right. I think I'm going over Star Trek this week because I watched that pretty thoroughly. I know Cal never will, so. And as well, I've been reading Annihilation, which I just found out is being turned into a movie, so that's pretty fun. And of course, the usual, we're going to be capping over Rick and Morty.
Yes, and I've been watching American Vandal, Little Evil, and Nathan For You.
I don't know what Nathan For You is.
Oh my god, man, you would love it. It's fucking fantastic.
Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Okay, sounds like
one. Is there any housekeeping? Mike.
I'm always so because like there's all this news that's like in the background that I'm not allowed to say right now because there's so much coming up.
That's okay. You can just tease it.
I can just tease it in that sense. There's some interesting stuff coming up with some entrepreneurship programs that we're actually going to be launching, which are pretty cool, and some stuff we're going to be doing with Algonquin based on that. A lot of really cool, very large initiatives. It's actually kind of a bit of a bit of news for Pens and Pixels in general, like what we're moving on to. A lot of people probably noticed we haven't done as many events recently as much. We've kind of revamped ourselves. Instead of doing a lot of smaller events, we still do our drink and draws, and we're probably still going to do some art lessons and a few smaller smatterings here and there. But we're focusing on some much larger stuff now that we've gotten that kind of network and reach. So it's definitely coming. It's just the ramp up to that takes a bit of time. So just hold on to our Pens and Pixelers out there.
So only super small and super big right now. No mid-tier.
Yeah.
Ain't got time for the mid-tiers.
We probably won't be doing mid-tier very much anymore. We'll be doing the very small, local, community-based, community-driven stuff, and actually letting the community kind of take charge of doing that themselves, which they've been doing. But we're going to focus much more on the larger stuff from now on to bring even bigger, more grander things in. I noticed actually even just with feedback, like in general, when people did the event thing, they're like, "This was really cool. I can't wait till it gets bigger next year." And I'm like, "Ugh." All right, you know what? Let's just go for big. Let's not like do all the work.
That sounds stressful.
Well, no, it's like doing all the work for a mid-range thing and then being like, now just do more. I'm like, well, how about I just do all the work for the big thing? Don't do a middle-range thing and the work for the big thing. Let's just do. Anyways, this is business talk.
Fuck business talk. Let's get into the newsy news.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Carol.
Carol really good. She's like, that's sexual harassment. And he's like, fine. Please don't go to HR.
Red leather, yellow leather.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. We're on air right now? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. All right, first up, let's get into some DC shenanigans. Jared Leto says Suicide Squad method acting stories are fake news.
I wish Jared Leto had a more memorable voice, so that way we could do like a quote of it, him doing it like Trump. But
you know what? I can't even. He does such like character acting, like like really in roles and stuff. I honestly don't know what he sounds like.
I don't know either.
He sounds like 30 Seconds to Mars, I guess. Like that's, I don't really know. Okay, Jared Leto is finally setting the record straight about all the extreme stories in the set of Suicide Squad. And if you don't know, that was stuff like sending a dead pig full of bullets, sending used condoms, anal beads.
Yeah, so I think the whole list was the rat in the box to all of them.
Yes.
Dead rat in the box, the pig, or slaughtering a pig, and or...
There's some
that one I thought was fake, though, because
something with a pig.
It kept changing, because you're right. I heard the pig with a bullet. I heard he slaughtered a dead pig in front of them. I heard he cut up parts of a dead pig.
You're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
He slaughtered a pig in front of them.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think the ones where he just like was acting weird near them probably was true.
Probably.
Because like,
well, and like sending anal beads is like that's a step pretty far.
Or a used condom. Like, I mean, used. I don't think he would have jacked off in 12 different condoms, like taken it off and then packaged it up. Like sending your semen to someone. No actor's gonna be like, "Oh, Jared Leto, you're such a goof." Like
that's something you go to HR for.
Yeah, you're like you don't even touch the box. You just walk out of the dressing room and be like, burn it, and like, let's move on.
Suicide Squad was Jared Leto's first substantial role after winning an Academy Award for his work in The Dallas Buyers Club. So there was already a pretty intense spotlight on the actor for taking one of the most famous villains in history, and comparisons started popping up immediately. Leto was known for his method acting technique, and his reported behavior on the set started to gain mythical status as he reportedly tried to compete with the Jokers that had come before him. Mm-hmm. While speaking to Entertainment Weekly Radio, Jared Leto was asked about his preparation to get into the Clown Prince of Crime. He says, "There were some things that were mentioned about gifts and the fact that I was giving used condoms to people, which was not true. It was not true. The used condom gag appeared to be, seemed to be the most far-fetched and inappropriate of the rumors, but it served a purpose and helped push along the narrative that Jared Leto was not messing around for his portrayal of the Joker."
That's why I let the truth get in the way of a good story. It's true.
Yeah, that's true. Though Leto didn't give... That was an ad that started playing a video.
Of Mr. Bean.
Of Mr. Bean. That's fun. Okay. Though Leto didn't give out used condoms and other equally creepy gifts, he actually did give gifts that he thought the Joker would give to the cast and crew. But as it turns out, these gifts were fairly tame when compared to those mythical stories out there. It's easy to see where all the embellished stories came from after Leto explained his methods. He had this to say. "I gave wrapped gifts to everybody, and people were thrilled to get them. They were laughing. They were giving whatever the Joker would give was the idea. It was really touching at the end to go and give the gifts. We'd be filming and there'd be people laughing. They'd go open up and there'd be a porno magazine or something. It would be whatever would be funny. You know, whatever would be absurd or outrageous."
Which seems more...
Way more, yeah.
Yeah, like that's like, alright, okay, yeah, totally.
Some of the
Although
stuff...
even then, I still don't get the sexualized side of what he was kind of communicating. Because like even the used condom one was like, the Joker has never been a sexualized character in any really major fashion. Neither has anything he ever done been...
Aside from maybe the Killing Joke. That's the only thing I can think of.
And even then, like, it's mostly murder and really disturbing stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's really about the stabbing. Like, porno mag?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something the Joker would do. No.
Like, are you method acting the right actor or character? Did you, like, put in the Joker and then, like, every serial killer came up and you're like, oh, that one? Yeah,
like, there's never been a comic where, like, Batman went back to the Batcave and just saw, like, cut out titties, copy and paste it onto like Matt Damon's body or like whatever bodybuilding body or something.
Or like you know like those letters that are made of all the different letters cut out from a magazine.
Yeah.
But each one's stuck on with cum.
At first, Batman's like, "This is weird," and then he's like, "It went from weird to fucking odd."
Yeah. He's like, maybe if I analyze the glue, and he just zooms out to Alfred working and making some tea. Master Wayne.
Though the rumors behind the scene antics surely helped promote Suicide Squad, it didn't make up for the fact that Joker was barely in the movie. But as the actor says, the rumors began to snowball. Leto explains. "Some of the stuff that you can do can go viral or get written about, especially with the Joker. Some of that stuff took on a life of its own, and most of it was total bullshit. What are you going to do in that moment? It doesn't matter how loudly you shout or hold up a sign with your pants off in Times Square. People are going to go with the story they want to run, and it just wasn't true."
That was nice. I mean,
it's good to know he's not as fucking crazy.
It was like the last week when we were talking about... It was last week. Jared Leto's Jesus thing. Or was the week before.
Oh, yeah, whenever everyone else around him was, like, weeping.
But Jared Leto was just like, I put in the contacts I was supposed to put in for the role, and I just put them in early to make sure I could really commit. Like, that's method acting at the end of the day. It was like, I'm going to commit to this just by putting them in early and really getting used to this. And that's really all it was about. And then they're just looking at him, and like everyone else is walking around going, "Oh, he's doing it again," to create more of a story.
Yeah,
that he's Jesus on stage or something.
Yeah, it was like watching. The director said it.
Yeah, the director was like, "It was like watching Jesus," and I'm like, "Good, were you there? Do you know what like seeing Jesus being reborn was like?"
Yeah, that was a super odd thing to say about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to know that's the thing. And the thing is too, like I've respected Jared Leto ever since. Not respected him. I've come around to him a lot more ever since he like kind of came out and said that like what they did with Suicide Squad was like garbage. Because again, I just always respect when an actor comes out and isn't all given the buttoned up response of like, "Well, we made the movie we wanted to make and had a good time doing it, and hopefully the fans love it," and blah blah, all that shit. He was just like, "Yeah, it was shitty." Like,
I liked him also just from the moment that he was kind of not unapologetically himself, because most of the time when actors do that, it gets them annoying. It's more like unapologetically being very genuine about like just who he was. Like everyone made that, and I still think it's the funniest fucking meme ever, is the one with the green coat.
Yeah,
right?
when he sees it on
and
fashion
he's
stage.
got his, his face on, and then he's wearing it the next week. Like, that's hilarious, but at the same time, he was like, yeah.
He saw that, liked it, and got it.
Like, that's just it, and that's kind of fun and awesome of him, right? Like, go for it with your bad self. Actually wear a piece from the runway.
Yeah.
And that kind of trickled through a lot of the other stuff he's ever done in his interviews and everything else. So, like, I totally kind of connected with him on that part. I have to admit, though, my view of him became more comedic and more, like, making fun of him the moment the condom stuff came out, and I'm like,
totally.
Is this true?
Yeah, like, I'm really insane. I'm sending them used condom. Yeah, like that kind of thing. Yeah, like, yeah.
And it wasn't a stance, like, he wasn't going against it, because typically, as per his reactions before, he would, right? He would have been like, nah.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
Good stories are good stories.
Exactly. You know what else is a good story?
What?
James Cameron defends Wonder Woman critique. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. If you don't know, James Cameron already came out and kind of, I wouldn't say he bashed it, but he even said the movie was good, but he just said it wasn't anything groundbreaking, like, in the case of Wonder Woman. And I think Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, had shot back and, like, said, like, what has James Cameron ever done? So, some shit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not the movie to make that kind of statement about because of what the movie stands for.
Exactly. I think it is groundbreaking in a way.
Yeah, well, you were saying this before the podcast, right? It's groundbreaking because it has a female lead for a superhero, and it did extremely well at the box office.
Yeah,
right?
I think the statement that makes that it's like people want this, and going forward, we want more of this.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, that's where it breaks ground. But if you guys listened to the After Dark segment on the last podcast, Cal and I both just recently watched Wonder Woman, and we both said, very good movie. Like, it's a good superhero movie. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it wasn't, like, this artistic piece. Like, I look at Arrival as one of my most recent amazing films that just blows my brain. Like, Denis Villeneuve is like my new god, and apparently should be, because I hopefully Blade Runner is turning out exactly like that. And like, that got 98%, and it sat there, and then, like, I was like, holy shit! And I sat down, and I couldn't believe it literally matched 98%. I was like, what? This sitting at 93, even Winter Soldier was, I think it's 91 right now, or 89, but, like, at the time it was sitting at 91, 93. Like, when I saw Winter Soldier, I was like, what?
Yeah.
This didn't do that. And that's the only comment. So it's not that it was bad. Like, I really enjoyed Ant-Man, but Ant-Man deserves it 75.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about it.
Like, it's the same thing with Wonder Woman, and I'm like,
but
it was great.
Here, let's hear Cameron out.
No.
Well, moving on.
No, just kidding.
Last month, Cameron caused an online uproar after calling Gal Gadot's superhero movie a step backwards, telling an interviewer,
"That's a bad word."
All of the self-congratulatory backpatting Hollywood's been doing over Wonder Woman has been so misguided. She's an objectified icon, and it's just male Hollywood doing the same old thing. As part of this week's Hollywood Reporter cover story, Cameron explained his comments further. Yes, I stand by that. I mean, she was Miss Israel. She was wearing a kind of bustier costume that was very form-fitting. She's absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. To me, that's not breaking ground. They had Raquel Welch doing stuff like that in the 60s. Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins responded to Cameron's original comments by saying, "If women have to always be hard, tough, and troubled to be strong, and we aren't free to be multidimensional or celebrate an icon of women everywhere because she's attractive and loving, then we haven't come very far, have we?" Cameron said that what his Terminator 2 lead, Linda Hamilton, created in 1991 film was, if not ahead of its time, at least a breakthrough in its time. I like that he's talking about his own movie like this. Linda looked great, he said, but she wasn't treated as a sex object. There was nothing sexual about her character. It was about angst. It was about will. It was about determination. She was crazy. She was complicated. She wasn't there to be liked or ogled. She was central, and the audience loved her by the end of the film. As much as I applaud Patty directing the film and Hollywood letting, in quotation marks, a woman direct a major action franchise, I don't think there was anything groundbreaking in Wonder Woman. I thought it was a good film, period.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see later on it goes with probably a little bit of a simplistic remark on my part, and I'm not walking back on it, but I will add a little detail, like the fact that sexually she had the upper hand with a male character, which I thought was fun. But that's barely backtracking over it. I have to admit that he didn't handle and even word this very well at all. Because
it's weird that that's
the first bit is pretty offensive to me.
Which part?
She was Miss Israel. She was wearing a kind of bustier costume. But then also all the self-congratulating back-patting Hollywood part, that's the part like I get as a message, right? Like, 'cause, like there was a lot of patting on the back of this movie because of what it represented, and it deserved it, and it needs it, and it should happen. Everyone who listens to the podcast knows that we're both like huge supporters of women in every single contact. We make fun of people who make fun of this shit like every day, but like the discussion of the point behind what Cameron's trying to say, you know, like where he's like, oh. You know, it's not that groundbreaking because like she didn't do anything.
The issue he's taking with it is weird to me because I didn't watching that movie. I didn't think she was really like objectified or sexualized. But that's the thing.
I didn't think that either. But
like not even slightly. I didn't really.
And that's the point it should be making. That I think that's what Patty Jenkins should be defending is going back and just saying, you know what, she's allowed to be whatever the fuck she wants.
Well, that kind of is what she said. Like I'm totally on Patty Jenkins' side here.
I am here.
I feel like they're almost having a different conversation.
Yeah, like one person's talking about one part, and that's the thing about too with like the Linda Hamilton side. Like, yeah, he's right. Like at the time, we had never really seen as much. Only one we'd seen Ripley of women who had no sexual connotations. Really, they were just badass women who were totally on the line. They were like covered up and stuff like that. But that has been overdone again and again. James Cameron and what's her name? Oh my God, Sigourney Weaver, like totally spearheaded that whole thing, and it became a thing.
That
for a
female
long time.
Action hero, yeah.
The female action hero. It became a thing. They just never headlined. Now they're headlining, and she's allowed to be any way that she wants to be.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't think it'd be different if Wonder Woman came out and she had huge cleavage and like there was a shot of her ass as she was running or something, like the very male gaze camera. But like, yeah, I didn't really. I don't understand Cameron's critique of it, like that. If that's what's bothering him about this movie, it's not what I was bothered by.
But the part that gets to me, that's sort of frustrating, sounds like a little child where he's going like, "No, my way of empowering women was better."
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the part that pisses me off.
And she says like they don't always have to be hard, tough, and troubled to be strong. And it's like that's exactly true. Like, you know, she's totally right. And then he kind of comes back and says like, "But look at my character who was troubled and you know, like it's a strange conversation."
It's a weird conversation because the thing is his comments and the way he's putting it out make him sound like a misogynistic, sexist asshole, and he shouldn't be saying it like this because he's like, I think empowering women should be removing sexuality, and he can have a conversation about sexuality and about sexism in films around that because there's a complete educated conversation to be had.
Totally.
You know? But instead he's sitting there going like, Wonder Woman, she's all dressed in sexy. Women don't dress sexy. Women are only in my movies. I dress them in like tank tops and give them guns. Like,
yeah, it's just such a strange point to make about that movie.
It's like they're both arguing for the same side, but like they're using the wrong words.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, they're infighting on the same side.
Yeah.
Interesting conversation though. Just see two directors go back at each other like that.
And that's the other part too, right? Like you go and look at Cameron and go, "Oh, Cameron's like a sexist and he hates women and all that stuff." But you can't really say that because all of his movies, a lot of the time, very much exemplify women. Sarah Connor, even in Avatar, Aliens. Aliens with Ripley, and then like even in Avatar with the blue girl, whatever the fuck her name was. I don't remember anymore.
Gamora. It was Gamora. It was Blue Gamora.
Blue Gamora.
It was
the same. Actually, you're right. I just realized she's actually
same actress.
She's gonna be a red character, and that way she's like the whole spectrum.
She's RGB.
She's RGB. Actually, Gamora's green. Green.
Oh yeah.
What was blue?
Probably not Boltina or something.
Boltina. Like a bolt?
I don't know.
She's just like a bolt in the wall that's painted blue.
Boltina. That was her name. That was probably her name. No one remembers any names from Avatar. No. Aside from Avatar.
Yeah.
Okay, next up. DC rethinks its universe. Okay.
And it should. Where are you going to start with this one?
Yeah, this is a long one, so buckle up. When it comes to movies, there's chronic bad buzz. Elsewhere, things are going swimmingly. They go on to talk about how the TV and comics are going very well for DC. Great rating. Even though, Gotham isn't, like, I don't think technically a great show. Gets good ratings.
The DC Legends stuff is where it's at for them.
What do you mean?
The Green Arrow, Supergirl, that's all the DC Legends stuff. Flash.
Yes, Flash, Arrow, Gotham.
Yeah. Well,
Supergirl.
Gotham, I don't know if it's some of that. Supergirl, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing great. You even mentioned Batman Arkham, doing great.
Yeah.
So why is the fucking DC universe being so bad? So what accounts for the contrasting reputations?
How much time do you have?
Perhaps part of the problem is that the movies, until recently, had very little influence on the core of the DC entertainment team, who had done so well elsewhere. It took some time for us to earn our stripes. I think with the rest of the studio and filmmakers, says the company's boyish chief creative officer, Jeff Johns.
Boyish?
That's what it says.
Boyish?
Oh, boyish.
I mean, he's, like, cute, but okay.
Is he boyishly cute?
I don't know.
Sitting at a long table alongside a clutch of DC executives in a San Diego Marriott on the first day of this July San Diego Comic-Con.
I just realized I just threw shade at Jeff Johns there, just for, like, a little side stab shade.
No.
Yeah, because they're like, it's like, so says they're boyish. They're young, untrained, unusable little boy talent in the corner.
I've only ever heard boyish when referring to, like, oh, he's boyishly handsome or something.
Boyish charm?
Yeah, or boyish charm.
I feel like this is more shade.
You think so?
Yeah, I think this is shade.
I just think they were, like, calling him... Yeah, you know, I don't know.
I'm reading it as shade. I'm standing
okay,
by
well,
my
Mike's
point.
reading it as shade. I didn't. I kind of just went past it, but now maybe I am.
Young and experienced, boyish.
How old is Jeff Johns? He's got to be like 35 or something,
He's
right?
got to be 35 or 40, yeah.
That fucking boy. But in the past 16 months, they've gained significantly more influence on the movie operation, and that change is already bearing fruit. It's not chaos, DC Entertainment President Diane Nelson assures me. It's intentional. Which is a fantastic quote.
Yeah.
They're in the midst of a fight to...
Can you do intentional chaos? Apparently.
You can.
Yeah.
They're in the midst of a fight to convince the public that's the case. They're not giving up on the idea of continuity, but they want to de-emphasize the idea that all these flicks are occupying the same space. Our intention, certainly moving forward, is to use the continuity to help make sure nothing is diverging in a way that doesn't make sense. But there's no insistence upon an overall storyline or interconnectivity in that universe.
Which sounds like chaos. Intentional chaos.
This new approach has already had a test case by any measure. It was a successful one. Wonder Woman out-earned every other movie this summer, scoring 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, higher than nearly every Marvel movie. And one of the keys, as Nelson and her execs saw it, was the fact that it more or less told the viewer to ignore the rest of the universe and just focus what was on in front of them.
Yeah, but Marvel's been doing that with all of their films, almost, except for Avengers.
Yeah, okay, let me get to the end of this, we'll talk about this whole fucking misguided shit. The movie's not about another movie, says John. Some of the movies do connect the characters together, like Justice League, but like with Aquaman, one of their next efforts, our goal is not to connect Aquaman to every movie. Moving forward, you'll see a DC universe being a universe, but one that comes from the heart of the filmmaker who's creating them. One of the centerpieces of this new decentralized strategy is an as-yet unnamed side label of occasional movies that are completely separate from everything else, set entirely outside the cinematic universe. So that was the whole, like, Elseworld, like, Gotham by Gaslight
Or we
stuff.
talked about also the other time was the ultimate origin story to Joker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're doing that.
Which sounds more like movies that are just should be called the oopsies. Like, you know, like, we're going to make this oopsie universe in case people like the oopsies a little better, and that way we can just go oopsie and then wipe out DCU.
So they really they start talking about how the Joker is going to be that or whatever, and John says they'll be announcing the name of the side label soonish. They really need to hammer home, I think, for the idiot public that it's going to be like a what-if story, or like a... They're all going to need to have either what if in front of it, or the trailers are all going to have to, like, what if the Joker, blah, da, 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 what if, blah, da, what if, ah! You know, I think they're going to need to do that.
Well, the thing is, too, is just, like, that no one's going to understand that. No one pays attention to the news enough that even if they sat up with, like, fucking billboards that just kept rolling down every day going, the DC Universe has a what if storyline.
Yeah.
No one's going to pay attention. They're just going to walk right by it.
Like,
then they're going to get confused and be like, why is DC creating a secondary universe? They already fucked up. It just sounds like more chaos.
The thing is, I don't know anyone this stupid. Like, I don't know the potential idiot audience for this. Like, I don't know who would get confused, but, like...
Oh, I just run into them all the time.
I've never met, or I've never talked about it with someone where, like, I would have to assume, okay, let's say they made fucking, who's Night Nurse? What's her name in Marvel?
The actress?
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson.
Let's say they made Rosario Dawson Wonder Woman. And they were like, what if Wonder Woman? And they had another subtitle under it, The Origin of Themyscira, or whatever the fuck. Is someone watching that like, is that Gal Gadot? Is this Wonder Woman too?
Yeah.
Is someone doing that?
Yeah.
There must be, right?
They all are.
Gal Gadot looks weird now.
Yeah,
you know, like...
The mass majority of them are. So, like, I go for a lot of dinner parties with a lot of friends, and they age anywhere between the ages of 32 to 40 to even 50. And none of them are superhero fans or nerds in any fashion, like, whatsoever. They didn't follow when they were younger in any way. And all the superhero stuff, every time a movie came out, they're like, oh, so I hear the next Spider-Man's coming out. What's that about, Mike? And they run to me because I'm going to have all the knowledge about it. And then I've got to label all this shit out. And by the time I get halfway through it, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm trying to break down, like, the MCU for someone basically.
Yeah.
And their eyes are glazing over and they're just like not giving a shit anymore. They heard the first 2 lines, which were like, Spider-Man is a Spider-Man. Like that's as far as they
He did whatever a spider can.
He does whatever a spider can, and that's it. Like, they don't pay attention and they don't retain it for when the movie comes out, and then later on in their Facebook post, they're like, I don't get why this happened. And I'm like, I explained it to you, you don't care. That's really is the mass majority of the audience.
It's crazy. And I guess it is because, we were young and we were reading Elseworld comics and stuff.
And also getting multiple universes launching at the same time.
Yeah, we just got the fact that, like, okay, these are 2 different Spider-Man, or these 2 different whatever, right? Yeah, we were introduced that very early. I guess that's not a common concept in most media.
No, I mean, the idea of a multiverse, which was dropped into both DC and Marvel, right? Like, they worked around that very much. Like, that was even had an illustration of it, of a bunch of planets on, like, a pyramid. Like, the extension of all the multi-planets and...
The 616 universe.
Yeah, like, all of the different universes out there, right? But even then, I gotta say, like, it's fucking hard to keep track of. Like, DC, when they started merging all of them into one, like, all the other universes got destroyed, but suddenly there was Superboy Prime from the 616 universe, and fucking Superman something, who was slightly weaker and shittier of a Superman from Earth Prime, and fucking something Superman, and I'm like...
Well, there's 2 Venom comics out right now, and I don't know what the fuck is the main one, and there's another one coming out soon where it's gonna be on Spider-Gwenom, and, like, it's like, I don't... Whose symbiote is that? What universe is this in?
Yeah.
It's just like, whatever. Let's address the first part of this paragraph where it says they're not giving up on the idea of continuity, but they want to de-emphasize the idea of all these movies occupying the same space. They're idiots. Like, if you look at almost any of the MCU films, aside from the Avengers-like ones, like Avengers and Civil War, I don't think I think almost all of them are pretty standalone, and you'd be able to understand what the fuck is going on in Ant-Man. A lot of them you'd be able to understand, just go in there and you wouldn't be confused about something.
No, really quick, easy to break down. Captain America 1, origin of Captain America. Iron Man 1, origin of Iron Man. Thor, origin of Thor. Shit. So, like, all origin stories didn't even touch each other. The only way they even touched each other, and we were all freaking out about an MCU, was a 30-second end credit sequence where Nick Fury kept showing up and going, I might recruit you.
So even after the first Avengers, where we have good fucking Guardians, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange,
all of them, all origin stories where they
Thor
don't even,
2.
And then they just end at the end and go like, oh look, they actually met each other quickly.
Yeah, it was so innocuous that like a lot of times like they might not even as well do cameos. It's almost like the Marvel Netflix stuff where it's like, these are in the same universe, but they're not.
Yeah, they're in the same universe, but we just call him the green guy.
Yeah, it's just.
And then go over to the next one, Civil War, just about Captain America, and just about Captain America characters.
I think I could see Civil War being,
but it didn't
little overwhelming if you didn't know anything. Well, no, like I wouldn't show my parents Civil War first.
Other than Black Widow, who would have just shown up if you hadn't seen Avengers. But no, even then was in Iron Man. She's the only one that was jumping around franchises, and she didn't matter enough. Like, I'm sorry, she didn't. Like,
I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't show, like, I show my parents Guardians of the Galaxy, show them Ant-Man. I probably wouldn't start them off with Civil War. I would go back. And...
Civil War is 2, or not Civil War. Yeah, Civil War is 3 of Captain America.
Yeah, it's technically Captain America 3, right?
But that's the thing, like those 3 tied together, and like there's where your tie together happens. Like none of them really play together. It was Avengers.
It's weird that they think the idea of continuity is fucking up their universe. When what have they had so far? They have Man of Steel, standalone, origin story,
100%.
Then they did Batman vs Superman, which they introduced Batman and technically Wonder Woman.
When they just merged everyone together.
And it really wasn't that confusing. Like all things given, the motivations were confusing, but it's like, I get it, Batman's here, Wonder Woman's here.
But this was like a direct story thing, like Man of Steel, and then Man of Steel 2 is Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, and then Suicide Squad, which is just a clusterfuck of villains that might as well not be in the same universe, aside from one scene at the end with Batman talking to what's her face in charge of in charge of Suicide Squad, and now Wonder Woman, which is a standalone story. Like all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, that works. It's like, you already had one. It was Man of Steel. You did it poorly, and it didn't work.
And even the merger for Wonder Woman is showing that scene at the Louvre where she works, right? And looking at the picture that Batman returned to him, saying like, "Thanks so much," or "Here's your picture back, Wayne." Right?
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah, I don't know where they're getting the idea that the continuity is what's making these movies bad. There's barely been any so far.
No, like you've barely even shown the merger together. As a matter of fact, you're rushing through it. It took 6 movies for them to get even close to the Avengers. Like,
yeah, it's been like in this universe, they smashed a bunch of shit up at once. But it's like, Suicide Squad, you could just reboot that internally, like, and have another Suicide Squad come out. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
they didn't touch anyone. Oh no, there was a cameo from Batman, I guess, when he saved Harley Quinn. But that's really nothing.
Yeah.
That's very odd that they think that's the problem.
I don't understand it. I don't think they know how to save it. Like, they've had movies too far in production to put in the stop. We were talking about that before, where they're like, Justice League was too far along when Jeff Johns got in, so he could, or not Justice League, sorry.
Why aren't they saying, like,
Suicide Squad.
We're hiring better fucking writers? Just in general, right? Like,
no, but I think this is all panic attack stuff, because they can't say that they made a mistake, right? If they come in and suddenly say, "Oh, I made a mistake," that's why everything with Justice League is like a big saving grace for them, because they can get rid of the director that they probably really didn't want, but was contracted in. When Jeff Johns comes in and goes, "Shit, we got to wipe the slate clean before we keep moving on," right? They can't do that. They can't just go, "We fucked up, forget all that, and we're going to start over again." DC doesn't have enough power quite yet to do that. Marvel could, but not DC. So they're like, all right, we've got these few movies already in production that we can't change yet. Let's get them just out the door. So they got Batman vs Superman. We got the fucking Suicide Squad. And they're like, all right, then we're going to move on. Wonder Woman was halfway through, but Patty Jenkins still pulled it off. And everything was like, they're like, all right, now we're going to just kind of like curb ourselves to start getting better. But I think it's just too far gone.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just too far. Like, the whole universe in itself, it's like, ugh.
They're going to do the Flash movie, and they're going to... I bet... Okay, now I'm going to bet...
It's like holding onto a bunch of marbles, but, like, keeping your fingers open the whole time and trying to like, grab them. There's like, I can't seem to...
I bet in the Flash movie, they're going to, A, have Flashpoint, which resets everything. Mm-hmm. And then, B, they're going to have Barry Allen run through, for like 10 minutes, run through the time force, and it's going to set all the What If movies up. He's just going to, like, poke his head out at the Time Force. He's going to see, like, the Joker origin movie. And he's going to poke his head out the other side. He's going to see, like, Gotham by Gaslight. He's going to poke his head out the other side and see another What If and another What If. And then he's going to be like, "Whoa, not my universe yet." Like, that was weird. And then...
That's it.
That'll be it.
Time Force? The Speed Force.
Speed Force, Time Force. What the fuck is Time Force? My brain has been off tonight. Yeah. Just to give a context... Mike said, "Have you seen that movie with the old Batman guy?" And I said, "Val Kilmer?" He was referring to Psycho. And I knew he was referring to Psycho, and I still said Val Kilmer.
Why would you go to picking out the, like, one only super actor who's made no impact whatsoever on the Batman franchise?
And he was only in one of them, right?
Yeah, he was in one.
I don't know. Okay, let's get some gaming news.
With Jim Curry. Jim Carrey.
Tim Curry, Jim Curry, whatever.
Can you imagine if Tim Curry and Jim Carrey merged into one being?
They're pretty good.
They'd be a pretty amazing human being.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he could cast for a lot of stuff. I mean, like, Tim Curry was it, Yeah. Tim Curry in Ace Ventura, I'm not quite sure I can see that.
Wasn't he in the second one?
Wait.
Was he in that? I think he was a villain. Oh, no, sorry. I'm thinking, like, something else. Never mind. Okay. Sorry.
Was he in Home Alone 2? As, like, the bellhop guy?
Yes.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. And he was a bad guy. Oh, it was fucking Charlie's Angels. That's what I was thinking of for some reason.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a way different movie.
Way different movie. I was just seeing him like in a suit, acting like a bad guy, being all Tim Curry.
Full caveat: we record these on Friday nights at the end of long weeks, so there's a little bit of wiggle room here for how terrible we are. All right, let's get into some gaming news.
Makes for fun content.
All right, let's move on to Swery's new game, The Good Life. If you don't know, Swery is infamous for making Deadly Premonition, a game that was so bad it was good. Very Twin Peaks inspired. You're solving a murder mystery in a town with people who speak very strangely and in dreamlike fashion, and the graphics were like not that great, but it was very heartfelt. I really liked that game, and a lot of people did. Mm-hmm. And now he's finally making a new game called The Good Life, where the main character is a photographer from New York and has a massive debt. In order to pay off that debt, she undertook a special job from a large newspaper company, which sent her to a rural town in England to uncover the secret of Rainy Woods, the happiest town in the world. She begins her new life there. Naomi is quickly drawn into a murder mystery. While the player pays off their debt, they'll be able to uncover the town's secrets and the truth about the murder.
This sounds like a great premise.
This sounds real fun.
But also this dude might be odd.
So when night falls in this game, all the townspeople turn into cats or dogs. The player can also turn into a cat or a dog for 1 week each month during your period and explore the town at night. These parts still feature completely new and fun style of gameplay. Now this is odd.
You could literally, there's a bracket section that says during your period. You could just take that out.
And it'd be fine.
And this game sounds amazing.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
Oh,
that's a cute game.
And also, the moment that during your period, like, this guy suddenly sounds like the worst pervert. He's like, I'm making a game about a girl. and this girl's gonna turn into a cat during her period because that's you're like, ew, ew.
Now you might think this is a step too far. This is a weird idea for a game.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what the game could have been. So 2 years ago, there was another interview he had where he was talking about an idea he had, and he said, aside from that, I'm also working on a story about a high school girl detective who uses the imagination, in brackets fantasizing, energy from masturbating to help her solve murders. But all the publishers keep telling me there's no way we could put out such a perverted game. LOL, I wish someone would let me make it. So that sounds like someone finally did let him make it, but they made it, they had to argue him down from masturbating to, okay, what about just a period?
What about just her menstrual cycle? Can you just put her on her menstrual cycle at least, please, and leave us alone? Go make your little perverted game, you little freak.
Like, Sweary's a weird dude.
Yeah.
Very eccentric guy. Like, if you
but
play
why is his game ideas focusing all around what her genitalia are going to do?
I don't know. I really don't know where that's coming from.
It kind of reminds me of like an over-the-top like artist who like is or a fine artist who paints stuff, and then he moves on to his whole segment of him just like painting vaginas or something, and he's like, and I'm doing this now for the power of the vagina, and then the precious power of the cunt. And you're like, whoa, okay, dude, like it's kind of like that, but like more creepy and like dirty and smelly.
Well, it's weird because again, like you said, like if she just went to this town and could turn into a cat or a dog
because everyone else can,
for even if it was for 1 week a month, it doesn't even matter. It might even be better because it's the implication. You're like, why only 1 week a month? Like maybe there's some deep themes in this game we don't know about. But like it's like during your period, it's like, why?
Yeah. Well, don't even label that out. Maybe it could just be a thing about sexual maturity. And
maybe,
that would have been fine.
Sure, maybe. So the guy, wow, guys get boners? Do they turn into dogs?
Oh, God, it'd be like every 5 seconds. Like screw covering it over with a book.
That'd be a hard life.
That'd be a hard life. As a teenage boy,
you're in class, you're sitting there, and all of a sudden, everyone looks at you. You're just a pug. Got this big red rocket.
And everyone's quite aware of what you were thinking. Yeah. It's like Morty turning into a car, but worse.
It's like people having normal conversations, and it's like they get like a little bit more than flaccid, and then like see high schools are just turning into fucking German shepherds, like just running.
Or every single time anything sexy would happen, like the guys are all sitting out, like they're still trying to figure out how to talk to girls, and suddenly the cheerleading squad comes out, and then suddenly all the bleachers are just dogs.
Or what if you're just like sitting on the bus and just the vibrations, and all of a sudden you're like, fuck, turn to a pit bull.
Who let a dog on this bus? Ew, this dog's got a boner.
Yeah, it's even worse.
Yeah.
You're a dog with a boner at that point. Alright, next up, let's talk about next generation.
About the next generation of
consoles.
Ah, yes.
PlayStation 5, Xbox, Infinity, or Avalanche, the Just Cause and Mad Max developers, are hiring to make a cross-gen, think PS4, PS5 type game. Avalanche recently put up new job postings with a couple of interesting tidbits. The jobs they're hiring for say next-generation experience and engines, and one mentions the new game is in development for both current and next-gen platforms. Both jobs are about adding multiplayer to the engine, so maybe we don't need to have a community patch and multiplayer this time. That's all it says. So, this is the first inkling we've even slightly gotten of a new console.
It's not coming anytime soon. I hope no one's thinking that.
Yeah, I would think the next 2 years-ish. 2.5?
Yeah, fine, okay. Yeah.
No, I mean, they're hiring for a game right now. Yeah, I don't think anyone thinks it's like, it's coming out tomorrow.
No, I mean, I would say 2 years as a minimum, 3 years as a good medium, 4 years as a max. But,
yeah, I would say about that.
Because, like, for them developing for a PS3 to PS4 game, and an online game means an MMO, which means it's going to span years, right?
No.
Or an online multiplayer game of any kind.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like an online game where many players play. A massive multiplayer online game, not RPG.
Sure.
And like that's going to stretch out over years of time, and they're going to like go like, okay, we have a year and a half of PS3 now, or PS4, and now we're going to do another year on the PS5. Like, this is still pretty far away. Plus, Sony's come out and said that they're not planning on releasing anything like anytime soon.
Yeah, again,
they want to put a long.
I don't fucking. Well, I don't believe them. Like, they could say that, and next PSX be like, here's a PS5. Like, they don't want to spoil their own surprise when they want to reveal it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't think they would release another console yet.
No, I don't think so either. But this is interesting. They're already talking about it. It feels like this generation is still just getting started.
It's not even going.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's barely going.
No, I mean, I think we just hit the stride this year with all the good games that came out. You know what I mean? We're just getting to like I remember the second year of the Xbox 360 PS3 era starting to really get good. Like it was the second, third year really getting good. Like when did the PS4 come out? It was like 4 years ago. It was 2014, I believe.
Was it that long ago?
2013?
No.
Yeah.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
The 4?
PS4, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was sooner than that.
You thought 2015?
Yeah.
We started this podcast in 2015.
Oh. Maybe since I just bought a Pro, I'm just like,
It was really, November 15th, 2013. Okay, Jesus, yeah, okay. So, 4 years, almost.
4 years, almost. Yeah. It's been almost long enough, yeah, I guess so.
No, it's just, it's crazy, because, I mean, the last generation went so long, right? Like, the Xbox 360 released late 2005.
Yeah.
So, we almost had an 8-year cycle at that point, and we're getting... Not that.
No.
Doesn't seem like.
It seems a little soon. And also, I don't feel like the engine's really been as utilized as much with the quick transition and then the 0.5s we're getting with the Xbox One X and I hate that name. And then the PS4 Pro. Like, we're still just starting to utilize what we have capable in front of us. And I feel like, Horizon and the new God of War and, like, any game kind of currently coming out, they're utilizing it. And then there's those games that push it to the absolute brink of how far the machinery will go, which was in comparison to being Final Fantasy VII being we're utilizing the system properly finally, and then 9 being this is as far as PS1 will ever go. I'm seeing the Final Fantasy VII stage. We still haven't gotten anything that's literally just going we're gonna set this thing on fire. Her processing speed is maxed.
So. Let's say PS5 is coming out in the next, let's say, 2.5, 3 years.
2.5, 3 years, yeah.
At this point, let's say, Razor's Edge. If people are if the developers right now who are starting to develop games, if they're thinking, okay, it's probably going to be cross-gen, it's probably going to be PS4 and PS5 game, would you rather, the new Horizon game, a game we were both looking forward to, Horizon 2, would you rather it be the end of the PS4 generation only on that, or would you rather have a PS5 launch?
PS4 at the end of that, because that way I know that they're focusing on utilizing the game as much, because every single game that releases with a brand new system in the very beginning is them just going I don't know how far this can go. Look at how pretty it is, and then they ignore all the design, they ignore all the mechanics. Every game that releases in the first year, they're working with the new hardware. They don't know how to utilize it, and there's no point for it to be on the 5. It just looks prettier and is a shittier game because there's been less work in the design and more time spent trying to figure out how to utilize the new engine.
Good point. I was only thinking of the fact that launch games usually suck, and it would be nice to have a good launch game. But you're right. It wouldn't be as good as if it was on PS4.
Yeah, you get it on the PS4 right at the end, and those games are always the best fucking games. They're the last round of generation on it.
The swan songs.
We're finally getting good games, and we're going to get better ones as the system progresses. The more time with it, the more comfortable and easier people get with it. The more design they spend, more time they spend getting constrained. Right? And they're going to go I can't make a game that does, I don't know, fucking random generation of everyone's hair looking like Lara Croft's. Instead, I'm going to focus in on making a really interesting mechanic based on the restrictions I have.
No, I agree. Interesting. They're talking about cross-gen or next-gen already.
Yeah.
Internally, I guess that's something you have to do. Plan ahead.
Yeah, and I think it's years and years ahead, and I think everyone's going to try and kind of put it in their crosshairs.
I could definitely say 2019, 2020 release date, and Death Stranding being cross-gen or something. Let's talk about Sonic. Sonic Forces Custom Hero Mode might not be the wish fulfillment you want.
Well.
Yes, Sonic Team is aware of your unique fan art.
I love the statement from the fucking creator of this. It's so good.
For many fans, the big sell of Sonic Forces is that you can create your own original playable character. But don't read too much into this. Custom Hero Mode isn't exactly an in-depth fan art inspired mode so much as one using parts from existing Sonic Forces universe, according to the game's developers. It's not going to be as in-depth as Fallout or some of those other extremely complex creation mechanics. Producer Shun Nakamura said to Polygon. We had in mind when we were making the whole create a character scenario was out to all the people being depicted in the world. You can choose those characters that populate the world. It's not complete free creation, and we're going to be making a lot of parts and features and animals that could exist in this world, and you're going to be able to put them together. So,
It's the big one that got to me though is.
Oh God, I've seen so many things in my life, and I have the knowledge of what people want to create or what they have created in the past. I've been seeing that for decades now, and I do understand on a certain level. But when the team is creating the customizable character, when they are making content, they just went out and did what they wanted to do.
This is see, so most of the fan art that we see are Hedgehog characters. A lot of characters are created, designed, matching the Sonic the Hedgehog body shape. That's pretty much what I want, what I see in the fan art out there. Nothing really deviates too far from that. So when we were thinking about the customizable character features, we didn't really go so far in creating different body types and shapes because of what we saw had a similar type of body type and shape. This is him rambling, going, look, I know that people have covered these things in swaggy tits and dicks, and also God knows how many of them have inflated to be pregnant and hold people inside of them.
Look,
but let's not feed that beast. Let's just not feed that beast. We're not going to feed that beast.
You say this, but these fuckers, they willingly made Sonic kiss a woman in a video game.
Yeah.
And, a human woman.
Yeah.
Not just Amy Rose and a pink cute hedgehog and it's like, oh nice, they kiss. No. A human woman. They were feeding the beast already. This is just what they're... What do you think the outcome was going to be? Now they want to fuck them. You made this. Just now give them what they want.
No, I don't want to see. I don't want to know. But also, I think that with that kissing moment, I think that moment they were just like on DeviantArt and they're like, this is the only crowd we're ever going to have. Sonic's never going to be anything more than this.
I don't doubt that they weren't catering to their base, but they shouldn't have done it.
No.
Now it seems like they're taking a heavy stand against, oh yeah, no dicks on these characters, but like,
no, you're on the face.
You were leering pretty close towards like furry porn there for a second.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hilarious that I mean, of course they're not ignorant of the fact that they know their character has been more abused and more sexually identified with than any other character in gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
They're probably not ignorant of this fact. But also, probably, yes. I think
so weird to think, like...
that this one character has been fucked more ways than anything else ever.
Like, there are so many things that are more popular than Sonic, but, like, the Sonic art is so predominant and weird.
Well, I don't...
Like, what is it about Sonic?
What is his design that promotes this more? Is it because he's easy to draw, and that made him easier to do fan art for, and then it just waterfalled?
I don't know. There's easier to draw characters. It can't just be the easiness of him.
No, because Mario's super easy to draw.
Yeah, like I would say he's easier. I don't know.
Is it because he's got like an actual full functional face and mouth? Because very few simple designed Nintendo characters or the original like classic cartoony Sonic character or Sega characters had functional features.
Yeah, but it's persisted. It's persisted even into this day and age where we have characters that look real. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you could easily, want to fuck Nathan Drake if you wanted or whatever. Like, I don't know. I really don't.
I want to know for some reason, though. Like, I want to know what makes...
I used to love Sonic when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I read the Sonic comics. I had Sonic game, whatever, Sonic Adventure Battle or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know what it is about him specifically. If you are one of these people, if you want to write in anonymously, if you want to write in with your name, I don't care. Yeah. Just send us an email at meetpensandpixels@gmail.com because I'm genuinely curious. I know we make fun of this shit a lot, but I am like genuinely
curious about what makes this particular character
so appealing.
Like,
why is he the target of every fetish you've ever seen?
Yeah,
Sonic has been through it.
Yeah. I mean, every other character has been through it in some fashion, but never has anyone dragged through the dirt.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen Mario's face as a toilet. That someone else was going to poop
I've seen stuff that, like, close to with him. But, like, you're right. Not anything is nearly as prevalent.
Yeah, it's just very odd.
Yeah.
You're right, though. They've clearly acknowledged it. I think they've known for a long time. You can't not know, so...
Here's a quick thing. The toilet one, is that your most disturbing image you've ever seen for Sonic?
Yeah, probably. Just because it's so, like, you're pooping in his mouth, and that's how someone's getting their jollies off.
I thought it was really weird, but it's like, alright, I gotta give it a credit to, like, the fact that you're very imaginative in what you're creating, so it's just a little bit like, okay, it's odd and weird and disturbing. My one that always got me the most is one of, like, you know that super cutesy pose where, like, they're on the ground with, like, one hand and their legs are, like, splayed, like, knee on one side.
Sure.
That looking like, and they're, like, the finger up the mouth. It's Sonic doing that with big puppy eyes, but, like, just drenched in cum. Just drenched in it, looking all cute. Like, it was just down on the ground, like a little cute hedgehog going, and then someone just...
That's less disturbing to me.
Shot all over it. There's something about that.
You could look like a fucking snowman. It would not as disturb me as much.
All I pictured in my head was like you were looking at your dog or something, like this little
God.
puppy, and you're just like, oh, it's so cute, and then tied that all together. Yeah, see?
Oh, okay.
This went to that place.
This is tough. You know what's always really interesting to me is I read this article one time on Alright, I read Playboy for the articles. No. I read this article on I think it was like top things that people the sex call workers or whatever, people you like have like sex with, sex phone talk or whatever, what their most common like fantasies were and stuff. And it was stuff that they couldn't get on the internet because like obviously you can Google porn and just watch whatever the fuck you want nowadays, it doesn't really matter. So all the people who are still calling into phone lines, oddly enough, it's all stuff that you can't find video of or isn't possible in real life. Like one of the most popular ones this woman said was like, I had to describe the man shrinking down to like, you know, ant size or whatever, and he's crawling in between my breasts and like doing all this stuff in between my cleavage, and you know, yeah, you can't really find that anywhere. I've never seen that online. I've never seen Ant-Man porn, I guess. Yeah. And it's like, that's so odd. And I guess the only way, if you have the fetish, like that's the only place you could go is someone describing it to you in vivid detail over the phone.
But it's like also like how far that goes now that's an option, because like using it's super easy now to animate in 3D modeled anything, right? So that's an entire option now.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess you know you have to. Okay, do I save up $1,500 to pay a good 3D artist to do this weird, small, tiny fetish porn, or do I just spend $6 jerking my pud on the phone for however many dollars it is a minute? You know. I mean, if he was thinking ahead about his dick, yeah, he'd totally do the $1,500 because maybe you spent that on the phone calls by now, and hey, you should have gotten your own video custom made for you. Yep. But this has gotten real off topic.
Got off way topic.
Let's go to the last story.
It's kind of actually still on topic because it's just as gross. Just kidding.
I was gonna say it's about people getting fucked.
Yeah, it's about people getting fucked.
Devil May Cry series director apologizes for lack of TGS announcements. Teases next project. Devil May Cry series director Hideki Itsuno just gave an update to fans on when they can expect to see his next project, which is rumored to be Devil May Cry 5. It's probably not. Itsuno took to Twitter with a message to his loyal followers. Sorry to not announce anything at Tokyo Game Show 2017. Please wait as my project is progressing smoothly. If you're feeling a sense of deja vu, it's because Itsuno tweeted out that something nearly identical after E3 2017. Back in June, Itsuno had this to say. Sorry to not announce anything at E3. Please wait as my project is progressing smoothly. At very least, it's good that it's progressing smoothly.
That was exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, how smoothly is smoothly really at this point?
What's the thing? It sounds like he's thought at several different points that it was going to get revealed at E3, and now
if you
TGS.
Thought it was going to get released at these things and going to be talked about, then it would have been released there. That means smooth production is I expect it to be announced at E3. I announced it at E3. That's smooth. Going to E3 and then going to have to make a public announcement where you're like, I didn't release anything. Sorry, don't worry, it's going smoothly.
Well, at the same time, maybe if it is... I mean, okay, so the speculation is that it's either Devil May Cry 5 or Dragon's Dogma 2.
It's not Devil May Cry 5.
You're probably right at this point. I've given up my hope at this point, so... I want it to be. But let's say either one of those things, those both have big fan bases that would love to see those come back. So I think... Maybe they're just saving it for the right... Maybe if Capcom's in charge of the announcement and not him, he just might be like, okay, well, there's a show coming up, you know? Like, maybe this one, and Capcom's like, not the right time. And they're like, okay, you know?
Yeah, you usually have to ask permission. So, it is... Yeah, no.
What do you mean, you have to ask permission?
Well, last time I spoke to a director, I was talking about going and releasing games at cons and, like, how to do it. And he was saying that, like, if I have a game that's ready to go and I have my publisher on the line, I have to ask my publisher's permission before I'm allowed to talk about it. The publisher is not going to say, you can release it at this point. I have to just, like, kind of like, it's like a pitch. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I'm
saying Capcom's his boss. They were probably dictating.
Oh, you mean, like, they're one going, like, okay, don't?
I'm saying, Capcom's sitting there, like, not the time to reveal Devil May Cry 5 yet. Like, it's not the right audience or not the right time.
Capcom's kind of fucking dumb because they don't got anything else right now.
They're gonna release Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition.
There you go.
That's what they got.
Yeah. Where's Capcom land?
I would say, especially for the amount of time that he has not released a project and he's been working on this, I would imagine it's a bigger game, which is what Dragon's Dogma would be. Devil May Cry 5, as much as I love those games, they're not huge, you know?
No, but also didn't you just say that the voice actor came out finally and said...
I don't know. I think it was, but I didn't actually go to verify if it was the same name or not, and I don't know his actual name. Like, I don't know. I don't remember it in my head. I just want to go creep his Facebook page to go see him. I'm like, I don't know if it's the same guy who voiced Dante, who was fucking with everyone before. Everyone was like, "Are you working on Devil May Cry?" And he just kept replying with like Devil May Cry quotes that all meant yes. Yeah. This might have been Virgil's voice actor for all I know, and they were like, "Are you working on it?" And he was like, "No, not as far as I know." You know, so.
That's the thing too. I mean, like, if someone was going to come out and confirm something, they'd be doing a lot more. And instead, I think this guy's just like playing for followers.
Yeah, exactly. And I also don't think that like legally you're allowed to. If someone's like, "Hey, are you working on? Are you voicing characters in Fallout 5?" And he's like, "Yes." And it's like, you fucking ruined everything.
I'm just thinking about like the sheer logic of the universe. The entire world didn't realize that all you had to do was just ask.
Yeah.
Like all of this rumor speculation, and then finally, like you and I come in, and like, did anybody ask them? And they're like, no. Did you right now? Just ask them. Are you in Devil May Cry 5? Yeah. Oh.
It's like that stupid thing about like that people think is true. The if you ask them if it's a cop, they have to tell you, and it's like everyone thinks it's just like that.
Yeah. So was that mass mentality or group mentality?
Mob mentality.
Mob mentality. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Devil May Cry 5 is never coming. Dragon's Dogma 2 probably is. After the break, after the break, we're going into the After Dark segment. We're going to talk about what we're reading, watching, playing. Stay tuned for that. Welcome back to the After Dark segment, where we talk about what we've been reading, watching, playing. All right, so let's kick things off with a little Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
The last episode was the ABCs of Beth.
Yeah. And this was a double story almost. I fucking love when Beth starts talking about her imaginary world. What was it called again? Do you remember? It's like the bubbly world.
Frumpy Land?
Frumpy Land, something like that. And like Rick's like, oh shit, you're gonna start talking about, you know, like my imaginary world. And when the kids start asking questions, they're like, no, not the bubble gun. There's no air in that.
Yes, that was good. I really
got carried off by these bubbles with no air. And when they showed up, they popped, and they're like,
can't breathe in there.
Yeah. And so Beth is like, you know, I'm really getting to start to like the bubble gun. She's getting like to become a shittier and shittier mother. Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, so this was a pretty good episode.
I love this episode so much. I liked it a lot. There was a lot of really great moments in it.
Yeah, you liked it way more than I did, but I still think this is like, what was there? 3 other episodes that I really liked this season.
This is like the top 3 episodes of the whole season.
This is like, if I liked 3 other ones more, this is like 4th. You know what I mean? Like
4th. This is top 3 easily. This is like 1 or 2 for me.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was great. I laughed and I was grossed out in the same way. I also liked that the story idea behind it was just as dark and kind of like a little bit more what was that kind of called?
Meta?
Yeah, that's
because I liked when they like kind of just figured everything out all automatically. Are you saying that he like fucked all these things and like created an incestuous race of people that he's ruling over? And they're like, and they come out and they're like, yeah, we already figured it out.
I love when he's like, they show up and they're like, I would like to have sex with one of you and then eat the baby.
Yeah. And then like, I just like, when the thing gave birth, it's just like,
and then it did. It's like, and he's like, I thought they would end it there, and it'd be like, no. And then he's like, would you like to watch? And they're like, no. And then he actually fucks it off screen, luckily. God knows. And then it just birthed the baby instantly, and you're like, oh, God. I was surprised how like injured Rick got like in this one, like compared to everything else.
Yeah,
he lost an arm.
Well, I think this also caught him off guard too, because like he thought it was a completely safe land. Like he was going out of his way to prove how like safe it was to Beth, and then that thing rips his arm off.
Which I love too, is like even showing up and she's like, "What a horrible father you were," and he made like this whole place of like breathable water, rainbow water, and squishy ground, and all this kind of stuff. And then the play of like him describing it, like I showed up and then Beth pushed me in the honey. Yeah. And then he's like, and now I would like to have sex with this large animal. I will put my seed in it. Like this that's that little baby voice they use in all shows.
Yeah. It sounded like almost like a South Park kid.
Yeah.
You know, like the little kids.
Yeah. And and then I will eat the baby. Yay! It's so fucked up, but funny.
And then Jerry's B plot was him dating an alien, and then getting in a heap of trouble because he couldn't break up with her properly, and she wanted to kill him and all this stuff.
This like super psychic huntress alien, and he's actually like learning telekinesis. Because sleeping with her gives him telekinesis.
That works.
He's like, what else does she have two of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I actually like that story more than the main story.
Oh, I like both of them equally. I thought, again, like I say, every episode that Jerry's in this season makes it better because we need that comparison of how shitty something can be.
Yeah.
Like, as much as Beth and Summer and Morty and Rick are all shitty, awful creatures, but also, part of this grand adventure of being all-knowing, Jerry is worse. It's worse to be stupid and not connected and just be that shitty.
Yeah. So did you have this problem?
Mm-hmm.
I never got the vibe that Beth was just like her father. Like, that was kind of the point they're hammering home. She's just as awful as him and whatever, blah, blah. Well, I never got that they were, like, really trying to make that point with her at any other point aside from now.
No, I always felt like she was trying to be like him, which was always...
Sure, I see trying to be like him, be strong, not show, like, emotion.
But they were showing a far more, like, psychopathic / like... and even then they said like her, but like him, but she's apparently a pure psychopath. Yeah. She was, like, killing puppies as a kid. And not even being, like, funny, like, literally killing puppies. But, like... they've always kind of demonstrated that she's got a far more psychopathic nature, and they were hinting at that throughout this whole season more so, like with the hoof sculpture, which was just creepy and upsetting, and other things like that. And they've hinted at it before that she's maybe a little bit more fucked up.
Yeah, maybe a little unhinged.
But I never got the idea that her fucked upness was like her being like her dad.
No, that's the thing. She said, like, he's like, you're my daughter, all this stuff. I was just like,
but I think that the idea with this episode is that she finally pieced it together. Like, all of the murderous and stuff is that it turns out that she's highly intelligent and doesn't care, just like he doesn't care. Like, it doesn't matter. He's like, all of the universe and life doesn't matter when at the end of the day you understand everything and nothing was really important, right? And that whole story for Rick and Morty. But, like, that was a discomparison that I liked, is that how much he's different was he's like, actually, he loves her and would do anything for her. And he's like, don't make me explain this to you because I don't want to have to. And he actually does love her. Then gives her, upsettingly, throughout the whole scene, he gives her the option to literally walk away clean, never have to worry with no backlash whatsoever. Yep. And he's upset to have to offer this to her, knowing that she just might take it, making her less, right? Because he loves Morty, he loves Beth, he loves Summer. This has been very clearly illustrated throughout this whole season. But did she take the offer, right? Because at the end...
So, what do you think?
The other Beth comes out, or Beth herself comes out suddenly very happy and really like, I love you, right? Which I love that conundrum, like, did she take it or didn't she, right? I mean, I'm not going to say definitively one way or another. I think the question is the cool part of the whole thing.
I think it doesn't matter. No. I don't think we'll ever get the answer.
No.
Unless, 4 seasons from now, like, this Beth comes back all hard and badass or something.
Yeah, no.
But I doubt they'll do that.
No, they'll never answer.
I think it'll just be, Yeah,
because that's what they love to do. It's Dan Harmon and the rest of them like to do. And that's why I like this episode so much more, is that, like, with a lot of the other Rick and Morty episodes, they tap into that really, philosophy idea of what life and the meaning of life is and what everything is like that. It was like, even when Rick and Morty season 1 started and they have an interview with Dan Harmon, they're like, what do you think life means? And he's like, it really means nothing, but it's really important to also remember that it's also about getting a hug from your loved one or experiencing the life you have right now. And that's the essence of Rick, right? And then, like, this question teetered with that philosophy again, like, did she take it? Did she not take it? What does intelligence
She doesn't have to worry about all the morals of, like, leaving her family or anything like that. It's like they'll think everything's fine. Yeah.
What does all that mean, right? What does family mean, etc.? So I love that. I love that they finally went back into tackling that kind of, like, meta / philosophy idea and stuff. That's why it kicked with me. Plus, the whole baby eating, like, with the bunnies and I could not stop laughing at that whole part. That was so funny to me. I don't know why. It was that mixture of...
It's morbid. It was morbid as fuck.
Yeah.
It was incestuous cannibalism.
Yeah, but it was that mixture of, like, in other seasons of Rick and Morty, remember, like I said, like 4 or 5 episodes ago, where's that thing where you're like, oh god, there's nothing funny about this, why am I laughing? This was that to me again, completely.
It's true. That was way more of that.
So that's best story for me. Like, that part I enjoyed. But for Jerry's story, I gotta say, like, it was more joke funny.
Yeah, I liked him, like, you know, he clearly had a problem with her avocado head. And, like, trying to, like, project that onto the kids.
He's like, I don't want to make her wear a wig.
Yeah. Like, he's just being a shitty person and, like, trying to project his fucking feelings on the kids and stuff. And, like, yeah.
I like the alien character, and she's like, oh, tonight we celebrate with a hunt.
Yeah.
Like, they hunted, and now they're celebrating with another hunt. And they're all hunting fucking, like, Guillermo del Toro's vampire.
Little things. They reminded me of Guillermo del Toro and Gollum or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, it was funny. Like even the whole Jerry thing where he's like he still blames on the kids and like called the kids racist and everything.
Yeah.
It's still coming to hunt them and shit. And like some were making him admit it all and then just leaving him in the car.
Yeah. It was a perfect Jerry moment.
Yeah. Oh, it's sad. I really enjoyed this episode thoroughly.
Yeah, this is one of the better ones for me.
Mm-hmm.
One more left.
One more left. And then probably another year and a half until we get another one.
Okay, American Vandal. This is a Netflix original. It just came out last week, I believe. The week before, I'm not sure. Fucking fantastic. One of my favorite things I've watched this year. Like, period.
Jesus, you've been saying that a lot lately. You've watched a lot of TV lately.
What else did I watch?
Something you watched last week was like the best piece of TV you've ever watched. Fucking not last week. It was before that. Was Ozark.
Oh, Ozark, fantastic too.
Yeah.
Ooh, another Netflix original. Mm-hmm. American Vandal is right up my alley, though. I'm super into true crime stuff. I listen to the podcast Serial, Making a Murderer on Netflix, all that kind of stuff. And this is like a satire of those kind of shows. It's about this kid. He's in high school. He's trying to make a serial-like podcast video, true crime documentary. And it's over someone who's spray painted 27 dicks on the teacher's cars.
Oh, this is a dick one. Oh, yeah. Okay, I know this.
And it is just like it's as engrossing as any one of those is. Like some of the best true crime documentaries. Yeah. But it just has this like this lead character who's like under suspicion.
It's like Waiting for Guffman or Best in Show. You know those shows?
No, I don't know what those are.
Oh my god, you don't know any of those?
I've never heard of those things.
They're satire, they're mockumentaries, like joke documentaries, right? Best in Show, it's always the same crew of people, the same actors. Best in Show is about a dog show, but they're all taking the dog show like super fucking seriously. The other one they did is the very famous joke at Turning It Up to 11. Mm-hmm. That's from Spinal Tap.
Oh, yeah.
Spinal Tap is a fake band based on Queen, etc.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen Spinal Tap.
They've done a whole series of these mockumentaries, right? And the other one's Best in Show. It's the other best one. It's super funny. And then they're Waiting for Guffman and a couple of others. They just did another one recently, too, about mascots.
Oh, I heard about that one. Yeah.
So another one. So this is the same thing. It's like where they're pretending it's all real and serious, and there's actually these stupid.
Yeah, it's totally fake.
Totally fake and satire. Yeah.
And they got they spot on casting for all the fucking high school kids. Like I feel like every kid you see in here that's a major or even a secondary character, you're like, I know someone like him. I met someone like them in high school. And and then the main dude who's under suspicion of drawing all these dicks is like fucking hilarious. And like I said, it's just as engrossing as a true crime documentary would be with a real whodunit. Mm-hmm. So like the little pieces in this are just like fantastic to watch come together. I highly recommend if you're into that kind of thing, like true crime and all that stuff, like give this a watch. Because at first I had no interest in it. I heard about it. I even heard it was good, and I just thought I thought it was gonna be a real wink wink nudge nudge, like people really treating this crime seriously. But it's like it's about dicks, huh? Get it? And it's like it's done so well that it was not like that at all. I
like the kind of mockumentary stuff.
Yeah, no, I'd say give at least one episode a shot. They're only like 30 minutes. Next up, I watched Little Evil with Adam Scott.
I haven't seen this yet, and I kind of want to, even though it got bad reviews.
I didn't see any. I only saw one review, and it said it was not that funny, but it had a lot of heart.
Yeah,
and that's kind of exactly what it is. It does have like some comedy. It had like one part that I really liked, but like the rest of it's kind of like smirk humor. Like
it's no what his other little cult classic.
It's from the director of Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah, they didn't. It's not that. It's much less than that.
It's I would not say it's not as funny as Tucker and Dale versus Evil at all. But it is. But it is like worth a watch. I think it's just fun. There's a lot of little like fun little references to other horror movies. And yeah, like I said, I think maybe the heart in it is oversold, or maybe I'm just a stone cold monster. But it didn't I don't felt like it affected me any more than like any other show that has heart or something. But
you are dead inside. This has been well proven.
I guess so. I get to make me.
You have to have no soul, and your heart has to have shriveled up like Mr. Burns if you watch Dragon Ball Super.
No, I think in most things you need to have an animal die for me to really get me in a movie. Homeward Bound, animal didn't even die in that, and I'll fucking weep. Land Before Time, the mother dying. Crazy. Get me cry every time.
On the whole animal dying thing, like, please don't retweet on any feed or anything out there horrible stuff like of animals that died in the floods and zone. I was sitting outside waiting for my class to start, and there was this whole video, and it just had no words, just a caption of sad face, dog, happy face, heart, dog, sad face. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And it's this person like violently trying to get this water out from a hole or something next to like some cracked ground or broken ground or something of like where one of the hurricanes happened or something like that. And this dog that's furiously trying to like dig into the hole and get into it, so they clear more and more and more, and they just keep doing it. And I'm like, what are they trying to get at? And I'm like, heart next to dog, happy dog, right? No, it's a mother dog clawing to get at its child that had drowned inside of the hole, and it
oh my god, that's
pulling
fucking heartbreaking,
pulling out the puppy dogs that had drowned from this fucking hurricane, and it's got it in its mouth and it's clawing for more. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like, okay, horrible. Yes, the floods are horrible damages. I just please don't fill my feed with that shit. Made me so sad.
Oh yeah, that's heavy. It's like it's like on
like
one
you're
hand,
right. That makes me so human suffering doesn't affect us, but that does.
Yeah, well, especially not fictional humor or human suffering. I'm like, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Like, I don't care if Neil Patrick Harris died in that fucking movie.
What?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know which one he died in.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if he's died in the movie.
I was gonna say. I
don't know why I pulled him out.
I was gonna say.
I was thinking about Gone Girl. And next up is I've been watching Nathan For You. This is a very funny series. It's on 4th season now.
Is it Netflix?
No, it's Comedy Central.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, you haven't heard about it?
No.
Nathan For You is a show where Canadian businessman Nathan Fielder, he goes to small businesses and tries to help them out. Like, a lot of them are like struggling to make ends meet, or they need more promotion or whatever, right? So this like season premiere, spoilers for the season premiere. There's a small diner that's struggling, and he the guy's like, we just need extra promotion. Not people aren't coming to the diner like they used to. And he's like, okay, so we're gonna get a celebrity to come here and leave a really big tip to one of the waitresses, because then that'll make news and more people will see that people come to your diner. He's like, you'll get more people. And the guy's like, okay. So then he just like goes off and he makes this happen. He finds a fucking impersonator to like come here, and then he
Did you say Ariana Grande? You were like, R.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say Michael Richardson, because that's who he ends up picking, is a Michael Richardson impersonator. Kramer from Seinfeld, because that's who the guy at the diner likes. And so he picks this guy, and then he's like, okay, we need to make this legit, so in case anyone looks into this bill. So he's like, I need someone's real credit card with the name Michael Richardson, or what the fuck his name is. So he like has to go find someone with that name. So he calls everyone in the phone book, trying to find like, will you let me put $10,000 on your card? I'll give it right back. And they're like, just hear the people swearing on the other end. He's like, okay, thanks for your time. Hangs up. And he's all very deadpan and serious to this whole thing. And it's just fantastic. He always comes up with the stupidest ways to help people. He helped a gas station in one of the seasons by like, there's a free rebate on gas. Like, you could like get your money back if you put it in this little box. In the small print, he put the rebate box at the top of the highest mountain in the town. But most people just didn't go and do it. But like a group of like 4 or 5 stubborn people showed up to like go do it. So he got into like this hiking outfit, and he's like, okay, we're going up the mountain. It's overnight. And like, so like they had to like break out tents, and like, it's all like reality, right? Like, so these people are just like this stubborn to like go up this fucking mountain to get like their $28 back that they spent on gas. It's fucking fantastic. All right, you've been watching Star Trek Discovery.
Well, it came out on Saturday on CBS or whatever the fuck it was in the States. But luckily, somehow, to get it in Canada, Crave TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, picked it up and releases it one day afterwards. So it comes out at 8 o'clock on a Sunday, comes out at 8 o'clock on a Monday. It was a 2-hour special, so basically 2 episodes in a row of the new Star Trek TV series. Which, to kind of foreshadow, I was like so... like about this whole thing. Aside from Michelle Yeoh being a captain, I was like, when they said Michelle Yeoh as a captain, I was like, same thing as Sigourney Weaver. I was just, my head spun around 180 and like, the whole thing, like fucking totally down. Best choice for a captain you could ever fucking possibly choose. Huge Trekkie over here, by the way. And but then I saw the new ship designs and some of the looks, and it looked a bit J.J. Abrams-ish, and I love the new J.J. Abrams movies, but I didn't think that would work for a TV show, and I'm like, how would they get the budget? Mm-hmm. What the fuck did these people do? They were so good.
Really?
Like, I could not be... I had a fight with my partner beforehand. We shut up and watched the whole thing and cuddled afterwards because we were so happy. Like, it fixed a fight. Like, so good.
I haven't even heard anything about it. Honestly, I thought you were going to start talking about the third movie. I forgot that this was the thing. I thought you were going to start. Have you seen the third movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we already talked about that at some point. Like, I was surprised to learn this is a TV show.
Yeah.
This is the one that the Hannibal guy was supposed to be working on.
Yeah.
Brian Fuller. Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, he's credited for some work on it.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, like all the actors that mattered in this. So really, at the end of the day, there are only 3 characters that they've introduced so far that were really important. Michelle Yeoh's character as a captain, the new first officer who will become the captain, and the science officer alien.
So is this a completely new like reboot, or is this in the
future?
Future?
It's
or
the story of.
Am I going to see Spock?
No, it's the story of before Kirk and Spock.
Okay.
And it's set in the universe of J.J. Abrams. Because there's the 2 timelines now.
Okay.
There was the original timeline with the old TV shows and the old movies, and then J.J. Abrams said we'd change time with the whole wormhole thing in the first movie.
Sure.
And now it's this timeline, so it's a story of before all of that.
Okay.
And visually, I have never, other than maybe the sort of Sonara there that tried to, dump all that money into it and make a show that had more visual spectacle than Game of Thrones, This was a fucking Star Trek movie. I'm telling you, the visuals and graphics in it made J.J. Abrams movies look like shit.
Wow.
They dumped a movie's worth of money into these 2 episodes.
So do you think this is CBS coming after Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, fucking totally. Like, this was remember you were making jokes about that? Apparently they decided to go do it. And they did it. Amazing. Like, a really quick summation of all the episodes and stuff. I like the very first scene on the desert planet when they're walking with Michelle Yeoh and the first officer. I'm dropping the names right now. I'm not familiar with the characters. It's been 1 episode,
Yeah.
But walking on the desert planet, Michelle Yeoh, fucking insanely good captain, pulling it off like Picard level, Next Generation. I'm like, yes, Captain, I will follow your orders right away. I love you. First officer pulling off great shit. First alien you see, like Star Trek aliens, always like a ridge on the forehead and maybe they're painted blue or something, right?
It's a human with some extra demands.
This wasn't this. The first alien shows up and you don't even see his face, but it's got tendrils shooting out of it and like 5 arms and fucking spider creature thing. It was so fucking cool. And I'm like, what the fuck is that thing? Star Trek doesn't have aliens like that. We're all humanoids with bumps. Like, that's it. So, totally engrossed. Loved it. Again, Michelle Yeoh just selling awesomeness as a captain. One of the best captains ever.
Is there a Klingon?
Yes. So this whole entire series is going to rotate around Klingons, and they introduced the Klingons. They've changed their looks a bit, so they don't have the hair. They've got way more ridge, but...
Do they look like the movie? Is there ones in the movies?
No.
Oh, there's none of the movies?
Oh, yeah, they did have the movies. They look a little bit like the ones in the movies.
Okay.
Yeah, except for these ones are really ornate, so they redid all of the... ship design and the architecture for Klingons to this really almost Egyptian meets old runes and druidic kind of look, and it's also weird organic kind of architecture shape. And the armor outfit, I was watching this stuff and looking at the new suit for the spacesuit for the Starfleet and for fucking Klingons. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is Mass Effect as a TV show. I was like, this is Mass Effect as a TV show. Super good. And then when the Klingons showed up and everything, I was like, what? And the differences were so many great homages back to the original content. The Klingons were still the ritualistic people they were and screaming for the dead.
They're like war. They're like a war race, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a warrior race, and they worship death and stuff like that. Or worship battle. I was just so blown away with everything that they had done. Wonderful homages back to the original content, but with a fresh retake and a new look. If you look at pictures, it doesn't do it any justice to the amazing lighting that this entire show had the entire time. I was like, someone sat around with point lights trying to make this beautiful. That's the outfit. Yeah. Sorry, he's looking at pictures while I talk of just gorgeous concept work. Cannot even talk about how amazing it all looked. Story-wise as well, it was really interesting. Great characters, really fell in love with them. It sucks. Spoiler warning to anyone who has not watched this Star Trek Discovery yet. You've been warned. Michelle Yeoh's character dies at the end of the 2nd episode.
Oh shit!
To let the new character take over, and also you can't afford to pay Michelle Yeoh. I knew it was coming, but I was really sad because she was an awesome character. Whole great scene at the end when she does die where it's just her and it's 2 female characters beam over to a bridge as per Spock and Kirk in the old shit, going to just go shoot and kick ass. There was no sense of women at any point with this whole thing. It was just two kick-ass people got beamed over and went over and kicked ass, and they were both women. They fought hand to hand. They used their phasers and everything.
There was no line of like, girls can kick butt too.
Yeah, like there was no like alluding to the fact that like, oh, Captain, you know, like, are you gonna take this? Maybe you should take someone stronger with you. Nothing. Just like, okay, like yeah. Great stuff with the Vulcans, and I cannot wait to watch more of this. I've never been so blown away by someone who put this much effort into it.
Well, I know you're like a huge Star Trek fan. I'm glad that this is actually like...
I gave this zero faith of being good. I thought there was no way they could bring Star Trek back to a TV series, especially since Star Trek TV series notoriously never make money. They always lose money and fail very quickly, even though the franchise is huge. So like the fact that this just came in and I was just like so happy.
I'm glad.
I cannot recommend this more to anyone else.
Super glad that you're like this sucked into it too. That's really nice.
Like I can't wait next week. I love that it's on Crave. Good job, Crave, on getting this so that Canadians can get it access. Totally down. Amazing work.
Crazy. Oh, that's good. There's a little review of the Star Trek Discovery for you guys. I've been playing Puzzle Fighter on iOS.
I've heard of this. I don't know what it is.
Puzzle Fighter? Yeah. So Puzzle Fighter is a game that originally came out on like Dreamcast or PS1 or something in arcades, I'm sure. And it's like colored gems are dropping, like, and you match the colored gems to make bigger blocks to destroy, and then your characters will fight each other.
Yeah.
In the old games, the goal was to, do big combos so more blocks would fall on your opponent's side, and you would try to fill up their screen so they'd fuck up and die.
Yep.
That's not so much the game in this one. In this one, you have two avatars. Oh, you have avatars in that one too. But you have like Ryu and Ken or whatever. You're fighting Ken, and you're like actually, when you do a combo or when you hit like you get two big green blocks or whatever thing happens, your Ryu will do like a bigger combo against Ken, and you're trying to deplete his HP bar. Which is a fine change. I'm really enjoying that. I'm super addicted to just the playing of this game. The only thing I don't like, some people have been harping on the art style. It's chibi little characters, big head Ryu or whatever. I don't mind that at all. I think it's cute.
Pocket Fighter was great.
Yeah, I really like the original arts. I mean, I would prefer the original pixel art style, but like, what are you gonna do?
Whatever.
It's a fucking iOS game in 2017. It's gonna look like this. The only thing is there are pay-to-win mechanics, which is like, hey, spend...
But that's iOS.
Exactly, yeah, but I know, but like, it doesn't mean I like it.
Like in the universe of where it always happens, it's in iOS. iOS always has pay-to-win.
Always. And the thing is, here's where it gets you though, is like, so yeah, you can spend $10 to get a bunch of cards out of a chest so you can upgrade your Ryu's Hadouken more so he does more damage when you do the same combo that I'm doing, right? I can still power up my guy, but it's just a lot slower and it keeps someone buying it. The thing is, I can't just ignore that because right now, it just launched, so it's very minimal. You get 3 missions a day, which is always like, defeat a character, defeat 2 characters, whatever, right? And you get little prizes. And once you're done those 3 missions for that day, the only other thing you can do is play online matches. And so far, I haven't really run into any problems. I'm decent at the game enough that I'm rising through the ranks pretty quickly. I haven't felt that like anyone's like super overpowered me yet, so it's not a problem yet. But like, there could be someone out there who's like, I dropped $100 in Puzzle Fighter. Now I have the maxed out characters, and I did one combo, and now half your health bar is gone, and you're struggling to do anything because you're playing the game normally.
Usually, when it comes down to any sort of pay to win, if it has an online competitive component, that's where it gets really gross. But again, like,
if this game had a story mode or something,
no one will complain about it being as a mobile game because in mobile games, it's the only market where it's acceptable.
Yeah, and people even still hate it there, but like, right, it is. It's just like, well, every mobile game has it, like,
Well, that's the thing. Like, Angry Birds started off with it, and then they were able to buy your birds and shit, and then ever since then, and it's strangely more devious with these ones because like full mechanics sometimes aren't even like something you can get unless you unlock it, or if you do, it's like leave your phone running for 4 days. Like I had this one that was like a Farmville / like park simulator, but it was like a dragon one, right, where you could like breed dragons and like grow them and stuff and breed them and get them. It was actually really cute and drawn and stuff, and I was just like, whatever, it's like 99 cents, popped it open. And just to make it so that my dragons could just fucking make a new cooler looking dragon, I would have to either wait a week or pay 99 cents.
Yep.
And it was just like it snowballed in that sense, and I noticed that suddenly I had paid like $10 just for like an hour of this game, and I was like, fuck, right?
Yep.
Like, I would just do it because I just wanted to keep playing, and it's just 99 cents, and then
Yep.
like that thing, so it becomes ingrained as part of iOS, and it's just something you have to accept about playing on mobile games. Like, unfortunately, that market is way too built on microtransactions.
Yeah, it's fucked.
They don't make anyone who makes a mobile game out there. Actually, strangely enough, Cal and I are about to work on one. You don't make money on mobile games for sales of the game. It's only on the transactions. The sales of the game cannot. They add up to nothing.
You need a whale.
You need a whale.
You need a whale.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that's gonna become a problem if I start fighting people and they're just dominating me I'm in the Super Bronze League. You rise through leagues or whatever, and like if people start dominating me like way too much, that's gonna turn me off the game. I'm just gonna delete it.
If I was more, I would be more concerned if I didn't think that you'd be on and moving on to a different game in about a week. So.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Like, really, at the end of the day, it's like even if you had reached gold, you would have been like, eh.
I have been playing this a lot for the last 24 hours, but yeah, who knows how long it's going to last.
Your Millhouse with Bone Storm.
I'm Thrillo. Mike, you've been playing Final Fantasy IX, and you're not a fan of this port.
I'm not a fan of I'm a fan of the game. I've been playing it nonstop. I'm going to finish it. I love replaying Final Fantasy IX again. Awesome, wonderful. However, I got to say this is actually a really weak port. After seeing what they did with the just literal port of Final Fantasy VII over to the PS4 and ports of Final Fantasy IX on other content, which was done great, this one really feels like they just slapped some shit together and pushed the export button just for a couple of things that are really kind of like just shittily done. First off is it's not full screen. It's not wide full screen. It's widescreen, or what's the old classic?
It's standard definition.
Standard definition,
like
square.
ratio.
Yeah, it's a standard definition ratio square. So I looked up online to see if there's an option to turn this off. I can't seem to find it, and I don't think it exists. But it has these two bars that run down the side because it's not full screen or widescreen. So the whole game spends it with these two gray bars right along the side, which is really fucking annoying, especially when you've got like a 60-inch high-definition TV.
Yeah.
But, like, whatever. Just like in the old days when you used to get the black bar on the top and the bottom or whatever, you learn to just not see it. There you go. That's what it is right there. He's got a picture of it up. So, whatever. You move on, and you're still playing the game.
I'm sure you're used to it eventually, but that is kind of like,
come on. Yeah, like, come on, just fucking fill the screen. You did it with all the others. You literally just didn't try. Like, it's such an easy fix to do, to fix, screen ratios. But the other problem with that, too, is that once they changed over the ratios again, they decided to have to change the HUD, because with it shrunk down and changed and everything on top of these high-definition screens, the text would be too small and everything would look kind of weird. So while your health and stuff that's kind of semi-transparent and also small on the other side is sitting there and it's not a problem, it doesn't take up really all that much more space than it used to. The action bar part, the part that pops up and says attack, item, etc.
Yeah, your menu
is so fucking big. It takes up almost the other entire half of the bottom, and it sometimes just completely covers over characters or even whole spells. So you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
I can't even
unacceptable. It seems like something they should have fucking looked at.
Yeah, it's like I can't even see what's going on. And then a weird little kind of side contrast too with some of the stuff that's also just kind of passed over. So they did anti-aliasing on the models of the characters and anything that's 3D model in it. But as anyone knows who's played Final Fantasy IX, that's 30% of the game, maybe. That's 3D models. The rest of it's painted landscapes and shit.
Pre-rendered backgrounds.
So while I don't care about the map, the world map, that's always just going to look like shit. That's just what it was back in the day.
Fucking bumpy green texture.
Yeah, that's just what they look like since back in the day. That's world maps. Hell, they don't even look great now. But in the actual combat, the instance combat where you have your fights, back in the day they were pretty shitty looking, but they were still okay enough because we really didn't know any better. But some of these are just literally a green texture on a flat plane, and then they made a couple bumps on the side that are mountains and covered with a brown texture. The contrast of everything else being so anti-aliased and picked up is strong. Mm-hmm. And to re-swap out a texture that would just be slightly better than this because the textures are stretched. They didn't even know about texture stretching back then. They just tossed it on. Mm-hmm. You can see this thing being pulled as if someone took a thing in Photoshop and just grabbed the corner, didn't hold shift, and went over the whole thing. It's come on, give me, again, 10 seconds of re-uploading a new texture. and you guys can retexture a box and a pyramid in 10 seconds.
Yeah, I would have liked this game to get a little more love. I mean, it is like my favorite Final Fantasy of all time, so obviously this is like...
That's the thing, I'm enjoying the game, and I almost at the same time almost don't care at all because I'm still playing Final Fantasy IX, but I do notice myself and this is where it gets bad whenever even you're playing something. I'm playing Final Fantasy IX, I'm having an amazing time again, it's so great to play it, and then I just suddenly notice the gray bar on the side. Or I'm like watching Vivi go trance, and then suddenly Vidane's ATBR fills, and suddenly he's covered over with attack, steal. Like, you're like, fucking Jesus, now I can't even see
That sounds like the worst, honestly. Yeah. Like, that sounds like the worst problem. Like, I can deal with, like, some shitty-looking backgrounds or whatever, because I played Final Fantasy VII, like, last year, but yeah, that sounds, like, completely unacceptable. The menus are, like, covering the art. Yeah.
So it's a little bit kind of annoying in that sense. Also... They have like the cheat mode options, like they gave to Final Fantasy VII, the speed up, and the I guess they gave you safe travel on that one as well, where you could turn it on and you wouldn't get in the fights.
I think so. I didn't really mess with anything except for the speed up because I knew everything else turned off your trophies.
Yeah, I don't. The option for it is like if you push the options button or start button, what it used to be back in the day, it pops up and pauses the game, right? Mm-hmm. But like you pause the game all the time. At the bottom of it, it gives you options with L1, R1, R2, and L2. You can turn on any one of these. One of them speed it up, one of them like safe travel. I didn't see a warning when I hit it for safe travel, but the other two where you can turn it to make it so you hit for 999 every single time, and or the battle assist where like you just max out your items without having to earn AP. When you try and hit those, it said like if you turn these on, trophy support gets turned off.
Yeah.
Right? But I accidentally hit the safe travel button the other night and was like running around. Everyone
I think safe travel should be fine.
Should be fine.
I think so. I think it's the 999 damage and stuff.
Because like I didn't even realize it was on. I was like in the puzzle or not in the puzzle in the walkthrough. It was like, this is the best place in the entire game to grind. You should grind right now. And I'm like walking in circles and I'm like, there's no fights here. So I just move on. And then suddenly I pause it again. And I saw the little symbol at the bottom. I'm like, motherfucker, just had safe travel on this whole time. I don't understand. So like a little bit silly on the controls. Just a bad, lazy port of an amazing, incredible, nearly perfect game. All right, so that's it for me and our reviews.
I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at TheCalG. Mike is at Mike Kent Draws. Pens and Pixels across all social medias. Pick your poison. You can find us on Twitter at PNP_Popcast, and Facebook is Pens Pixels Podcast.
Yeah. And be sure to give us a like, share, and subscribe on all the major social media out there. So follow us and give us a like, etc. on SoundCloud. Also, give us a rating and a follow on iTunes. And as well on YouTube. We put content up there that's different from the podcast as well as their podcasts as well. And drop us a comment on any of this stuff. We love hearing from you guys. We respond right away. You guys have been responding a lot more lately. It's great to see the crowd of you growing. And other than that, we'll see you around.
Keep on popping.
I don't like that ending.
Pop fresh.
No. It's getting worse.
Poppin' Fresh is that fucking stupid mascot from the cookies.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Oh, the one in the belly. I thought it was a different one.
Yeah. Who did you think it was?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. For some reason I thought Stay Pop Marshmallow.
It's close enough. He's a little dope boy.
Pop.
Yeah. Stay Pop.